Hey, I'm Coach Gayle of Y Powered Whole Health Coaching, and we're back for part two of a conversation with my client friend Marcie, talking about Heart Health Month. And we are going to be, this part two is, we're going to call it It Could Happen to You. And if you haven't listened to part one of our conversation, it's all about how Marcie had a surprising heart event and obviously lived through it. And we had a wonderful conversation about her experience. And there was so much to talk about and explore. I encourage you to listen to that conversation. It's on my YouTube channel. But basically, we talked all about how she experienced the heart event and lived through it. And we talked about the signs of a heart attack and shared some surprising facts and just had a great conversation about that. But there was so much more to talk about. So that's why we're having this part two of this discussion. And there were so many questions I really wanted to continue talking with Marcie about. So I'm so excited to have you back, Marcie. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks
Good to
for
see you
having
again.
me. It's always good to
So,
see you.
um, question number one, along this theme of it can happen to you, is did you ever did you have any sense? Did you ever in your wildest dream thinks one day I'm going to have a heart attack?
I probably should have, but I didn't because, I go to the doctor regularly. I do all of the stuff I'm supposed to do. I get my blood tests and whatever else, and my cholesterol is always really low. My blood pressure, I couldn't think of that. My blood pressure is always really low. So I'm like, I'm good. Just because everyone in my family has heart disease, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
So
really didn't
it
have
never even
any,
crossed my mind.
yeah. So you didn't have any real big concerns except for the heart, for the family history. That was the big one,
Right.
right?
Which sort of is number one.
Yeah,
So,
because you were a longtime fitness training client of mine, strong, working at. We were doing fitness sessions a couple times a week for quite some time. You're strong, and yeah, you did not see this coming.
no, not at all.
Yeah, yeah. So when it did happen, it was quite a surprise. And as we said in the initial conversation, you were reluctant to head to ER. You kept thinking this couldn't be a heart attack. It must be. You thought it
No.
was a panic attack, and
If there
you
was a
delayed
panic attack,
going.
I thought it was pneumonia. I mean, I thought of everything in the world except heart,
Yeah.
which was sort of stupid. But
But
I
eventually,
did.
you did go,
Uh,
and they said yes, it's that, and you ended up with a stent,
right,
and you've been doing cardiac rehab for almost 3 months now.
right, right.
and
Yes,
you're doing good.
right.
Yep.
Yes.
Fighting and clawing your way back, right?
Yeah, it's a really, honestly, I only felt bad like that first 24 hours from the time it started until 24 hours later. I really had never felt bad.
Mm.
It's really weird because it's a whole thing about like trusting your body and
Mm.
everyone says, "Oh, listen to your body and stuff." Well, my body wasn't really saying anything.
Mm.
Um, so it's really strange, a lot of it.
Because it turned out that one of the arteries in your heart was quite clogged. That was what they
Yes.
found, right?
Yeah, it's the one they call the Widowmaker. It was 100% clogged.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I don't even understand how that happens and how I am still here. But I am
Hmm.
very grateful for
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So they put the stent in, they cleared that clogged artery, and they said, what was their advice to you going forward?
The biggest things they said for me, and I've heard from different heart patients different things, but what I was told, so that's what I'm going with, is watch your sodium. I'm supposed
Mhm.
to have 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams a day, where the average person I think has 2,500.
Yeah,
um,
23 to 25 is typically what they say to max
for most
to
people.
the
Right,
daily max for good health. Yep.
right. And then saturated fats, they said I shouldn't have more than 7. And it's
Yeah.
amazing how much is how where you find saturated fats. But then
Sure.
it's also amazing where you don't. Like, this is the craziest thing that I found. I was thinking I was never going to have Mexican or Chinese or Greek again, and I love, ethnic foods. And so as I was walking into the grocery, there was I don't know if you've ever been to Rosalita's, but it's a great
Oh
Mexican
yeah.
restaurant. And they had one of their things, and I'm like, I'm gonna just look and see if am I allowed one chip. Rosalita's chips that they sell in the grocery store
Mhm.
are unbelievably low in saturated fat
Oh,
and sodium.
okay.
I was
Well,
like,
that's good news.
yeah, but it's still, I mean, you can't eat an entire bag like I would
Sure.
probably, but
Those are easy to just get
right,
in that
right,
fog eating, right?
right. So and as I've been looking at Mexican food, which I love, I found like flour tortillas are actually worse in
Mm,
sodium and saturated fats, which I always thought those were so much healthier.
sure.
It's
So
crazy.
it sounds like you're more aware of ingredients, reading labels more, being more certainly more diet conscious in terms of what you're putting in your body since this
Right.
happened.
Right. You know what? I said at the time, I don't care. I never liked oatmeal. I will tell you
Hmm.
that. But I know it's like the best thing you can have for so many reasons. I started eating it like, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And now I do not skip it. I have oatmeal with some cinnamon and blueberries every single day.
Hmm.
And a banana because we talked about
Yeah,
bananas.
we did. That was one
I
of the surprising facts we shared in our
couldn't
first
believe it.
conversation.
It was so fun.
24% reduction in your cardiovascular disease risk comes from eating a daily banana. All fruits and
Pretty
vegetables
crazy.
reduce our risk, but there's something about
Bananas,
bananas that,
something
yeah,
magical. Because and when we were talking about it, it was like, I mean, it wasn't a study that they looked at 10 people. It was like, I want to say
it was big.
millions.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
was a big one.
yes. So I said at the time, nothing tastes as good as being alive.
Yeah,
So if I
well,
have to eat
is
oatmeal
that a
for
Marcy quote?
if I have to eat oatmeal for every meal for the rest of my life, I'd rather do that than not be here. But
Well,
then I started finding other stuff. So I
yeah.
don't have to only have oatmeal.
Well, we know two keys to a healthy diet are moderation and variety. So we don't we wouldn't ban you to eating oatmeal at every meal, but no, it's those two things are important. But so you've modified your diets. Anything else changed for you, like in your mindset? What else comes to mind?
I
What else
try
has
really
shifted?
hard to practice gratitude, which I've
Mm,
always done,
yeah.
but sometimes I'm slipping into depression about it. Honestly, I think I mentioned that my neighbor, her dad was just going through stuff, and she was reading some of the articles on it, and it said women are much more likely to suffer from depression afterwards. It
Interesting.
affects women long term mentally more than men.
Mm,
So that, but you know what? Have a good support system.
okay.
That's like, I have a bunch of friends that if I'm feeling really down, I can call or,
Hmm.
and my family, I've got a great family. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is that it scares me so much. And,
Sure.
I don't trust my body anymore. I'm like, okay, wait, I sneeze. Could that be something bigger than
Mm,
bigger than
okay.
sneezing or,
So you kind of have to ease back into trusting your body
oh,
after that kind of
absolutely.
a sort of jolt, like
Right.
it was sort of a catastrophic hello.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Wake
Yeah.
up.
And,
Things need to
I
change.
even working out, I'm like, I was afraid to take a walk by myself for a long time.
Wow.
I do it. I don't do it very fast,
Hmm.
but even at like cardiac rehab, like you said, I'm almost on 3 months. And today I couldn't work out right in front of the desk with all the nurses, and I have a monitor on. I
Hmm.
had to go a little bit farther away, and I said, I've never been this far away from you guys working out. And they said, you'll be fine. We're in the same room. We have your monitor. I said, yeah, but I don't want to be that far away. And so they know my sense of humor. They said, well, the crash cart's over there. I said, okay, I'll be good. I'll be
Okay.
good if I go over there.
So there's still some tentativeness, it sounds
Right,
like.
right.
Okay.
Still scared.
Understandable. So, Marcie, third question for you today. You've been through a lot. You're like this a warrior, really, in so many ways. Looking back on all of it, everything you've experienced, what advice would you share with people, women particularly, because we're a special little subset, especially when it comes to heart attacks. I think
Right.
what having this life experience, what do you say to women, particularly in
Um,
in kind of our age group? Um,
right.
yeah.
Um, think heart attacks earlier rather than later. Um, I mean, luckily, like I said, for me, everything was fine, but I keep thinking I should have gone the night before. I don't know why. I mean, it took me like 15 hours to decide that I should go to the hospital.
Mm.
And thank goodness I didn't die. But yeah, listen, put it towards the front of your mind, because so what if it's a panic attack? You're not going to die from that and you go to the hospital. If it's a heart attack and you don't go, you
Yeah.
can die.
Yeah.
So think heart attack earlier, sooner rather than later. Depend on friends and family, whoever you need to, and find stuff that helps you get through it. Like, everybody's either sweet or salty or a combination of both. And I've found like substitutes for all of it. Here, I got to show you this one. I took it in. It's
Sorry,
green.
Marcy, before you jump into that, I just want to
Okay.
emphasize one thing that you said because I think it's so important. I just read a stat about that. The symptoms of a heart attack, like half of heart attacks are symptomless, which is
Right,
crazy. And for women, they tend to be more fatal.
right,
And so this is really key to what you said, because with that, like you waited, you were having symptoms. Like so like if you're having symptoms, just go. And
right.
and it
And
can be
I didn't have it going down my arm, any of the things you normally hear. I think we decided two of the four symptoms that you read about.
right.
I can see the
And
first one to find those.
right. And I was on the other side. I had a panic attack, thought it was a heart attack, and I went pretty
You were
quickly.
smarter.
But either way,
uh,
if there's any concern, any doubt, just go, because it can be a life-saving thing. So
right, right.
don't hesitate. Get it checked out is the bottom line. So,
Yeah,
all right, go ahead,
absolutely.
Marcy.
Okay, so I was just going to
Marcy was going to share some
this
things about
green
how
salt.
she's
You can find
yeah.
this online, but it's like so low in sodium and it's all natural. It's a great thing. I showed it there. Penzeys Spices, if you live near one, or you can order online. They have a huge list of sodium-free products.
Yeah. So
Other
whether you've had a heart incident or just
want to
time to
start
pay
watching it.
attention, yeah, time to pay
Right,
attention to how much sodium you're taking in.
right. I mean, I made a salad the other with Rosie latest chili. I made a taco salad the other day and I used, what do they call it? Arizona Dreamin'. I did it with that 99% fat-free turkey and a big salad. And I put like about 7 of those chips on it. It was fabulous. It was so good. And oh, one thing I got to mention is there's a place called healthyheartmarket.com.
Okay.
And the lady at Penzeys actually told me about it. A lot of the things that are on there, you can find at Schnucks. Schnucks especially is good, healthy things. Or Deerberg's,
Okay.
but
Two St.
um,
Louis institution
right, right.
supermarkets.
If you're
Yeah.
not in St. Louis, I'm sure you can find it someplace. But go look at Healthy Heart Market, and I found some stuff on there that I have since found in the grocery store. But it's unbelievable. So,
So,
read
so
labels.
you yeah, so you found a lot of workarounds to help you just make those shifts that you need to make to tweak your diet to make it heart healthier.
Right, right. And I
With
found
this,
sweet things and salty things that are not really salty. So
so you're not really giving things up. You're just adjusting the needle a bit to
changing.
be healthier.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks so much, Marcy, for sharing this perspective and your experience. So appreciate it. And I know that inspiring people with your true life story is making a difference for people. So um, thank you, thank you, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it. Take good care.
I will.
Okay.